Bienvenue, hi, welcome. Today is going to be a twofold Paris and Versailles cultural vlog. As in the first part, I'll show you a temporary exhibit currently at le Grand Trianon de Versailles. And in the second part, I will show you the inside of the Opéra Comique in Paris. This temporary exhibit is all about gardens of the Enlightenment, so it's from 1750 to the 1800s. It takes place in le Grand Trianon being inside the Versailles Castle Park. My recommendation would be to enter the park at La Grille de la Reine, the Queen's Gate. It's very easy then if you're biking or if you want to park a car outside. Once you're in the Versailles Castle Park, you will see it's a huge meadow on your right, and usually we can see sheep over there. This time it was horses, so that was fun. And it's a straight walk, a 15 minutes walk to the entry of the Grand Trianon. At this crossroad, you will find on your right le Petit Trianon et le Hameau de la Reine, so the Small Trianon and the Queen's Hamlet. Straight ahead, le Grand Trianon. And on your left, le Grand Canal being at the bottom of the Versailles Castle's gardens. If you want a little bit of historical context, Louis XIV bought the Trianon estate in 1661, and he had the Grand Trianon built in this estate. Later on, Louis XV had Petit Trianon built in 1768, and later on, Marie Antoinette had the Queen's Hamlet built in 1786. And during the reigns of Louis XIV, Louis XV and Louis XVI, these estates had been havens for royal families. They were dedicated to privacy and relaxation, especially during the summer months when the royal family took days off from the court life. They would enjoy nature and put on big parties and shows. Here, the temporary exhibition was focusing on the Garden of Enlightenment, the English gardens developed in the 1730s in England and were very fashionable all throughout Europe. They were also called Anglo-Chinese gardens, as Europeans were very impressed by everything coming from China. This Enlightenment movement motivated a return to nature, as Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the writer, was very convinced that being in nature makes you happy. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was convinced that nature helped a person feel free, and his thinking had a lot of influence over the way people designed gardens at the time. Paths became winding so that visitors could be surprised and amazed at every turn, so that visitors felt like they had traveled without leaving the garden, thanks to little decorative structures that evoked other countries, like Chinese pagodas, Egyptian pyramids, Greek and Roman temples. Clothing to be outside became lighter, and people were able to walk around and play outside. Even women wore simpler dresses that were more flowy and protected themselves from the sun. Men also chose more comfortable outfits decorated with flowers or patterns inspired by far-off places. Here you can see Marie Antoinette, and in 1783, Marie Antoinette appeared in public wearing a very simple white dress called a chemise à la reine. Many people were shocked to see a queen dressed in something like a nightgown, so it was the scandalous dress. However, very quickly it became fashionable. So soon enough the garden became an open-air living room, and furniture was invented to be outside and be folded very quickly. These gardens were designed to have fun, to be relaxed, and to have big shows. So they even had fireworks, which I find amazing. When you visit Le Hameau de la Reine, you can see the fake rocks, and you can imagine that at one shot 200 people were lighting candles. Candlelight illuminated large painted fabrics from behind, enhancing the magic. And the garden was transformed into a true fairy tale setting. In the 1780s, they all wanted their own English garden, and Bagatelle is one of them. As you were walking, you may have strolled through a valley and up a mountain, or even admired waterfalls and caves, as well as a Chinese pagoda or an ancient temple. It would have made you travel through time and space, but also would have brought you surprises and wonders, as well as a little mystery along the way. These gardens soon became a place where adults had as much fun as the children. On this Fragonard painting you can see the swing. Nature became a way to escape a society then seen as corrupted. For long now the Trianon gardens are being renovated outside, and it's still work in progress. Anyway, gardens is always a work in progress. But they have renovated these huge and very beautiful fountains, and it's very impressive. It's a big one and it's very beautiful. I'm always amazed by details. Next up, I was also amazed at details at l'Opéra Comique, as they had an open door day. It was the first time I was visiting the inside. It was fascinating to see in such short time people learn how to sing opera. So l'Opéra Comique is the people side of the opera, and back then they were going to the Opéra Comique as we would go to the movie theater. Originally in 1715, l'Opéra Comique was more about street shows that settled somewhere than the real classical opera. In the 19th century, l'Opéra Comique was not necessarily comic either in the classical sense of ending happily or the modern one of being funny. It was rather used to cover a much wider category of work. The actual building was built in 1898 and it's on a very small but beautiful square.
C'est le même peintre. Et là, en fait, ça raconte la création de l'Opéra Comique. Parce qu'il faut savoir qu'à l'époque, l'opéra, c'était une troupe de comédiens qui s'inspiraient de la Commedia dell'arte et qui se sont appelés Opéra Comique et qui jouaient dans des foires. D'où là, on voit, on est dans la foire Saint-Laurent, on a
That was a beautiful day. People enjoy learning how to sing. Et voilà, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next one, I'll be sharing a temporary exhibition about the American independence and the French Revolution. So if that might interest you, stay tuned. Until next time, à bientôt. Au revoir. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great day.